Yay! It's my fantasy football show. You should watch it.
Nobody knows the trouble I see. Nobody knows but Jesus.
Geez, what happened, mister? Why are you so down on yourself?
That darn executioner cost me my job, and now I can't afford to live. Help a poor soul out, please.
Oh, let me help you out there a little bit.
I'm so sad. God damn it.
Gosh darn it! Shoot!
Hello and welcome back to all of my friends, my leagues of fans, and of course to you, my fellow FTFLer, to the longest running weekly episodic fantasy football show out there. That's right, boys and girls, it is time once again for the FTFL weekly update. And not only am I the host of this award-winning show, not only am I the two-time FTFL League champion, not only am I the reigning, defending, undisputed consolation champion of the league, I am also that voice that sings ever so sweetly deep down in your heart, reminding you that it's just a game, and some people aren't as good as some games as the rest of us, and that's okay. No one's keeping track except all of us. That's right, boys and girls, it is I, Brett Sieber. Welcome back to the show. Woo! 4 weeks left. That's it, 4. No one is officially out of the playoffs yet. Eric is on the cusp of getting into the playoffs. Had he won this week, that's right, spoiler alert, he didn't. Maybe he would have clinched a playoff spot for now. That hangs in the balance. Now, another surprise from last week. We thought he was kind of gone. We thought he was a one and done. We thought he was someone that really couldn't get behind it and just keep it up. The Executioner, who, let's be real honest, like the Reaper was kind of fun. The Reaper was kind of silly. The Executioner is straight dark. I don't know where this goes. I am going to reach back out to Bart. I'm going to see. Hopefully we can get something figured out. Because, yeah, having the Executioner back does not make me feel all that great about where things are going. He is not, though, the only individual that is back. Last week, a special guest host of the show, and here, by popular demand, let me welcome to the show Lizzie Sieber. Slide on in here. Come on in. How are we doing tonight?
Well, I noticed you said boys and girls. There's no girls in your league because you won't let me in. So, I don't think you can say boys and girls.
It sounds like you're doing just great. You're coming out just firing. Wow. So, how's it going?
Okay.
How's your fantasy football teams? Because you have 2 of them now, right? 2 of them?
Mm-hmm.
How are they?
One of them, I think, is doing okay.
You think is doing okay. Is that the one that had the week?
No.
Oh, that's in the other league, the Markser League. Did you not want to talk about the other league, the FTFL 2.0? I mean, let's be honest. It was one bad week. Markser has had a couple bad months. We're going to get into that in just a moment. A lot of you got Jamar Chase this past week. Raise your hand if that was you. Yeah, that was both of us. I mean, I got tanked in my brother's league. Lizzie here, what was the score after Thursday night of your game? Do you remember?
Uh-huh.
Did you want to share and tell everyone what that was?
100 and -4.
100 to -4. Did you win that game?
No.
No, you didn't. That's all right. As I mentioned, you win some, you lose some. Jeff, over the last 2 months, there's a lot that's happened in this world. If you live in Florida, these last 2 months have been an absolute nightmare anywhere down in the South. Not only Hurricane Helene, but Hurricane Milton back-to-back just devastated things. That happened in the last 2 months. We crowned a World Series champion. Thank God it wasn't the Yankees, although it was the Dodgers, which really isn't all that much better. We had our first snowstorm of the season here in Minnesota. We celebrated a major holiday, Halloween. We had a national election. You know what didn't happen in the last 2 months?
Jeff winning.
Jeff getting a win in the FTFL. And then, but hold up. I asked him, I said, well, wait, if you were to lose another one, that's 9 in a row. Like, has that happened? I can't imagine this ever happened. He's like, oh, let me go ahead and consult with a number muncher and we'll crunch the numbers. Oh, just back in 2022, Matt started the season 0-9. Would you not just be, Matt, I applaud you for your discipline and commitment to fantasy football, because that's the kind of start that would have me just going, whoosh, tear it up, burn it down, we're done, we're out, it's over. Good night. Also, in 2017, John lost 9 in a row in a season. So it is not a completely unheard of thing. So don't worry about 100 to -4. That was bad, but it was not nearly as bad as what Jeff has gone through. Boy, oh boy, and he's got a little bit of time to try to get that last win, so he's not the worst team ever. There are some of us, though, that are absolutely playing with more wins in hand, and that is what we're going to get into next. Here we go. Game number 1, the Pack Attack at 8-1, coming in, taking on the Mixing Cocktails at 5-4. Eric had been just barnstorming people, although the team he ran up against this week, don't look now. But Andy's team, after now acquiring Jonathan Taylor, thanks Swart, we'll talk more about that later, Andy's team might be the team to beat. 115 for him, 58 for old Uncle Eric. 58. That was a rough week for him. Andy did have Jamar Chase, 47.5, so guess what? Eric got you with the one league. Eric got in this league. It all evens out.
Not for me.
I suppose not for you, but in general, it evens out. 47.5 points was the second highest wide receiver score in league history. 48.5 is the all-time high Tyreek Hill in 2020. Jamar Chase also scored 47.5 points in 21. So he's having himself quite a season, contract season. So he's wanting to get paid, and boy, is he ever going to get paid. James Conner, 14.5. Mark Andrews, 13. Patrick Mahomes, 10. A measly 10 points for Mahomes. DeAndre Hopkins came back last week. Well, he's been back a couple weeks. Big week last week. This week, down to 4. Didn't matter. Andy rolled. Eric, Josh Allen, 12. Derek the King Henry, 10.5. Devontae Smith, 1 point.
Whew, I gave up on him.
He was average. You did? Well, he was averaging 14.5 over the last 2 weeks.
I had him last year, and he did nothing.
Oh, well. George Kittle, newly acquired tight end, 9.5. Brock Purdy, 22 points. That's 10 more points than Eric starter. A number muncher, where's your free Brock sign? Oh, and you talk about Brock Purdy sitting on. Oh, it's all about Lamar sitting on the bench, not Brock Purdy sitting on.
Who's his starter?
Josh Allen.
Okay, well, Brock Purdy isn't running in touchdowns like Josh Allen is.
You're not helping right now. You're not. This is. I'm trying to garner support for my own decisions. Calvin Ridley, 22.5 points. On the bench, that didn't really bode well.
He got 22.5 points.
22.5 points. Right now, here's the deal. Calvin Ridley's season. There's a three games. If you took his 3 highest scoring games, 57.5 points. You take the other 6 games combined, 14.5. He is boom or bust. Eric went bust this week, falls to 8-2. Andy keeps pace with me because my game is next. Now Andy is up to 6-4. I came into this week at 6-3 to take it on the Architect at 3-6. I move to 7-3. 91 to 75.5 for me. Finally, Lamar Jackson saw the field. That was because Jordan Love had a bye. So. Jason Sanders picked him up, free agent kicker, 16 points. That was $1 well spent. Harrison Jr., Puka Nacua, both with 10.5. Braylon Allen got a start, 2.5 points. Deontay Johnson played 5 snaps, half point. Yet, I still scored 91 points. I only had 6 points on the bench. I had 5 starters on a bye. This week, when the season started, I knew week 10 was going to be bad. Matt, this was yours to take, and you said, you know what, nah, I'll pass. Jared Goff, 16 points. Now, if we were playing in the Jeff Markster scoring system, Jared Goff would have gotten 6 points, because as we know, how many interceptions did Jared Goff throw? 5 interceptions, and somehow the damn Lions still won the game. Come on, Texans, do something, anything in the second half. Rashad White, Cortland Sutton, both 13. Cade Otton cooled off 4.5 points. He had been averaging over 18 the previous 3 weeks. George Pickens, 14.5 on the bench, wouldn't have been enough. Matt falls at 3-7 and on the brink of playoff elimination. I hold on to a 1-game lead in the North. On to the next game. The Radioactive Monkeys coming in at 5-4, taking on Trogdor at 5-4, although after the he'll tell you he's not giving up, but I'm not convinced. Maybe it's more of a Trogdor. I think that's what it is officially for now. 101 for Adam, 88 for Adam.
What?
Adam Saltmarsh, Adam Swart.
Okay, you gotta.
If you're salty, Jalen, the best throwing running back in all of football, hurts 30 points. Bijan Robinson, 25.5. Let me tell you what, weeks 1 through 5, he was averaging under 8 a week. Weeks 6 through 10, he is averaging over 17 a week. That trade with Sid could be what puts Salty in the Fantasy Bowl. I look at his team, I look at Andy's team. Both these teams are on the rise for sure. Chuba Hubbard, not a bad number 2 or number 3 running back. 18 points for him. 4 players, 4.5 or under for Saltmarsh, but big points from some of those other players. Joe Burrow. Where's the free Joe Burrow sign? 40 points on the bench.
Woo!
I mean, it was a buzzsaw performance. I mean, granted, Hurts had 30. But yeah, if you're Adam Swart, that is, Kyler Stupidface Jr. Murray, 22 points. The Bills defense, 17. Tyler Bass, 13. James Cook, 10.5. Jonathan in his last game of 2 on the Trogdor team, 9 points. In total, 12.5 points for a first-round pick. 12.5 points for a first-round pick. Swart falls to 5-5. Now 2 games out of first. Still technically in the playoffs if they started today. Saltmarsh moves to 6-4. And now it is time to move on to the report you are all hoping to not be a part of. Let's see who's going to be on it this week. Here comes Peter Vingy and the Cringy Report.
Hey, welcome back, FTFL fans. It's week 10, and it's time to dive into the finest cringy moments of the league this week. We've got bench blunders, point potholes, and streaks that just won't end. Let's roll. All right, first of the week is the worst seed of the week, and this one goes to Pack-Attack. Coach Eric left Calvin Ridley stranded on the bench with a massive 22.5 points, just waiting. Now, it didn't impact the game's outcome, but let's be honest. This is the first time we've seen any kind of move like this from Eric, so is this what we should be expecting moving forward? I hope so. Ho, ho, ho! It's not Christmas yet, but next we have Running on Empty Award going to the Menominopes for a jaw-dropping, nap-inducing 55 points. To make it even more cringy, 19 of those points came from a kicker Jeff grabbed just to avoid a $5 fine. Congrats, Jeff, for making budget-friendly fantasy decisions that don't translate to actual points. The Oops, He Did It Again award. Man, this third award of the week is, it's just getting weird. Think about it. There have been 144 NFL games this season. The Menominopes are on a brutal 8-week skid, with only 13 wins possible in all league play. But hey, Jeff, you avoided the league's lowest weekly score, so that's something, right? And now for Week 10's cringy nominees. Finalists are Jeff, the Menominopes, yeah, we all know, losing streak, yada, 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 and Pack-Attack, for benching points that could have not really made a difference, but still left it on the bench. So we'll see what happens as the year goes on. And that's a wrap for Week 10's Cringy Awards. May your waiver wire moves be light, your lineups tight, and your cringiest plays land squarely on your opponent. Good luck to all of you, except the poor soul playing me.
All right, well, Peter, really no surprises there. Jeff, 8 straight losses, brutal. Eric, I believe, if we go back to before it was the cringy and it was the decent, he's the one person who has never had his name on the seat. I'd love someday to see that change. It does not look like it's going to be this year. As surprised you, I no longer have my amazing co-host here. I think someone dropped some sort of new video on TikTok, or there's a stream to watch. It's hard to say. It's kind of like, a cat chasing a laser pointer on the wall, easily distracted, often just kind of here, but not really. So I thank her for her efforts this week. Maybe she'll drop by at a future episode. Let's get back to the games. Peter and the Valhalla Vandals coming in at 5-4, taking on Mana. 4-time Lucky Pants, breaking and entering, title thieving, on pace for the worst season in league history, champ Mana. Coming in at 2-7, make that 2-8, 55 points for him. Only 68 for Peter. Not a whole lot, but enough to beat Jeff. Travis Kelsey, 14, Amon Ra, 13. Run CMC. Welcome back to Run CMC. 9 points for him, only 8.5 points on the bench. This is a brutal week for Peter, yet still a W, rises to 6-4 in the playoffs if they started today. If you're Jeff, Peter mentioned it in the cringy report. 19 points from Cardi, $1, saved himself 4, highest scorer on the team. Still, when CJ Stroud is only putting up 10 points, Tank Bigsby and someone named Jalen McMillan in your starting lineup, both dropping the big fat zeros, it's not going to take much. Now, Jeff had a kicker on his bench, Jake Moody. I know there was maybe some question that he didn't play, but he did. He scored 12 points. Jeff could have saved $1. I know that one's probably going to burn him more than the loss in some ways. Jeff has lost 8 straight games. This thing is completely out of control. I can't imagine he wants it to be done. However, it won't be done soon enough. Last game of the week, Team Dickweed, the ride or die, who seems to now be maybe fully, we're talking full-on life support at this point, coming in at Make America Great Again at 3-6. These are both teams who needed to win to, I guess, distance himself from the basement, which Sid did, 88. John didn't, 58. If you're Sid, Chase Brown, 16.5. The Minnesota Vikings, 15. Kyami Fairburn, 13. Sam Laporta, 11.5 points. Devontae, 5. Sam Darnold, 4. Cooper Kunch, that's Cooper Kunch, by the way. Cooper Kunch. No one is Cooper Kunch. It's Cooper Kupp. Cooper Kupp. 7 points on the bench. Dak out for the season, which means your starter is Sam Darnold. I'm assuming you're going to pick up a quarterback. Maybe you already did. I think you did, actually. I was checking the waiver stuff this morning. Devontae, boy, oh boy, what a bust-a-palooza. The Jets are a wreck. Aaron Rodgers is just spent. He's cooked. It's over, and I think it's great. If you're John, Joe Mixon, 13. Jake Bates, 12. Jaden Daniels, 4. This is his only his third single digit of the year. The last couple weeks have been tough for him. Saquon Barkley, 4.5. Last 4 weeks, he's been kind of just a roller coaster. 19, 6.5. 25.5, 4. Jalen Waddle, 3.5. I had to include Jalen Waddle just because I don't think I've said his name, but maybe one other time this entire whole damn season. 2.5 of those 3.5 came on the very first drive. John, this season is bad. Good news, it's not as bad as Jeff's. All right, stud of the dud and the crazy stat of the week, and on we go. Stud of the week, 47.5 points, Jamar Chase. That one was easy. Dud of the week, Jeff, the GM. Mismanaged his kicker situation this year. Mismanaged the draft. Just mismanagement all over the place. And really, the crazy stat of the week is that Jeff's lost 8 in a row, and there are others that have lost 9. Twice in the last, 7 years. That's bonkers. Maybe my name's on that list too. Maybe the number bunch will get back to us with the top 10 worst losing streaks in FTFL history. There's some work for it. You're welcome. On to week 11 we go. The Pack Attack at 8-2 taking on the Valhalla Vandals at 6-4. Hulkamaniacs at 7-3 taking on the Mixing Cocktails at 6-4. This could become a 2-game lead in the division this week with 3 to go. Big game there in the north. The Monkeys at 6-4 coming in, taking on the Architect at 3-7. Trogdor coming in at 5-5, taking on my, out of gas, ride or die, Dickweed at 3-7. And lastly, but certainly not leastly, the number 2 all-time win percentage team in Make America Great Again, coming in at 4-6, taking on Mana, 4-time Lucky Pants, breaking and entering, title thieving. Oh, where have the glory years gone? Champ Mana at 2-8. 4 weeks left. 4 teams with 2 games, basically 2 games out of the playoff. This is it. It is crunch time. This is why we do this. Excitement bounds aplenty. Best of luck to all of you this weekend. Have yourself a wonderful rest of the week. And until we hang out again next time, peace!